Oh, that's so good. I figured it out.
Yeah.
Cool. Speak. I'm also gonna do whatchamacallit at the same time. I might as well. Okay. Start recording. Okay, cool. All right. Anything we want to talk about before we start or not?
Uh,
Not me.
no. Oh, fuck. Is it my turn to pick a movie?
Yes,
Or
it
is it your...
is. Yes, it
Oh,
is.
shit.
Aha!
We'll think
Yeah.
about it while during the podcast.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything. I'll just be distracted.
Good.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to 120 Days in Movie Podcast. This is Chuck.
This is Daniel.
This is Brendan.
You didn't have the dramatic pause.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Enunciate.
Hmm. So yeah, we
Song.
watched another movie. We watched Speak, and I guess we should just get the warnings out the way now. Yeah, this movie tackles really heavy topics of sexual assault. So if you're not very comfortable with that and you don't want to hear three guys talk about it, which is perfectly okay.
It's very fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Three guys who are totally not qualified to talk about it, but we'll talk about it. So yeah, that's the warning. So yeah, this is Brendan's pick. It's a good movie. So
Yeah.
if you do want to watch it, I would just recommend knowing that warning before you watch it. But yeah, Brendan, do you want to give a quick synopsis, or do you want me to do it?
Yeah, I could do it. So basically, this movie follows a girl named Melinda, who just became a freshman in high school, and we see her navigating that freshman year, while being haunted by something that happened when she was in 8th grade, where she went to a party and was sexually assaulted by one of the guys. That's, I guess he's a senior now when she becomes a freshman. Yeah, and I think that's like just the overall summary. Just
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good summary.
Yeah.
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 I was gonna say I read the book maybe in high school or maybe even middle school, but yeah, it was I don't remember anything about it. I remember some
Oh,
things
okay.
from the movie. I couldn't tell you what the differences were, but it was vaguely I remember the big moments. And yeah, that's really it.
When you read, I don't know, maybe we can talk about this later, but I'm going to ask anyway now. When you read the book, do you remember if you liked the book or just
Oh
it
yeah,
spit you
I
off?
thought I liked the book a lot, and my teacher did a great job of not revealing anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, before we watched, I was like, wow, this is like pretty heavy.
Yeah.
Oh, for the
Oh,
book?
yeah.
Yeah, she
Oh,
did a
okay.
great yeah, but it was funny because she said that like she didn't like the movie because she didn't like Kirsten Stewart. And before we even go into the movie at all, I thought she was great.
Yeah, me too.
Me too. Yeah, like, and I'm not even like a Kirsten Stewart hater. I haven't, to be honest, seen a lot of her movies.
Hmm.
But I know it's like sort of a joke, right? Almost that like she's never shows any emotion or like is not a very good actor or whatever. But like
Yeah.
this is a very good performance. I agree completely. Like really good.
Yeah, she like that subdued performance really worked, and the fact that like
Yes.
when you see the flashbacks, she is like definitely a different character, and I think that kind of
Yeah.
sells the entire thing.
I
Yeah, that's a
completely
good
agree.
point. Yeah, the difference definitely. Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe there's something to be said if we want to. I don't know if this is nitpicking or if this is backhanded at all, but I don't mean to. But it's like, yeah, you like the fact that she tends to give sort of an understated performance definitely does come into play. But there were some scenes, we'll talk about it as it goes on, where like, yeah, I think really like nuanced, um, just emotionally sort of rich performance. Genuinely, I was like, I don't want to say I was shocked, like, is that sort of insulting? But
Hmm.
I was definitely pleasantly surprised.
Oh, definitely. But yeah, I was gonna say, Brandon, do you have any things that you were the one who recommended it, so did you get what you wanted out of it?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, one, I think you guys know, but like I'm like a sucker for any like well written uh like drama film that takes place in school,
Hmm.
like whether it's like high school, middle school, like college, anything school related. If it's like well written and like a good movie, it's like I'm a sucker for those. And this was just like what I was hoping for, and it delivered for me. Especially with like the main message of like you can keep everything like bottled up inside, but like nothing will change if you do that. As in, like the whole movie of like just speak. Like once she actually spoke up, like everything changed for her in a like of course like she didn't completely heal because that's like but things were starting to get better for her and she like eventually saved her friend who could have potentially went through the same thing. The guy everyone found out in school like what that guy did, so she made her relationship with her parents better again. Like I don't know, it's like if you don't speak up, then you'll just stay in your, I guess, like misery.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, and like I feel like it's how she healed and how she was able to like handle like a horrible thing that happened to her.
Yeah. So I really like the overall message of the movie.
Hmm I also
Yeah,
like.
I
Oh, go ahead, Dan. My bad.
no, go ahead. No, go ahead, Chuck.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I really like the performance of the I don't even remember his name. The bull, like the can I call him the bully or the
Who the
the senior
Oh, the
Oh yeah, Andy. I think it was his name.
Andy.
Andy? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Andy
I thought his
Evans.
performance was pretty good too. Like I genuinely did like hated him. He did a
Right.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, that's good.
yeah. It did a good job of me like not liking him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this doesn't go on exactly what you guys are saying, but I was just thinking I feel like this movie, and I guess maybe the book by extension, but only one of us has read the book and he doesn't remember. But it's a little bit. There's definitely like it, definitely some cliche bits, you know, like just in super simple terms, like kind of I don't know, like a lot of like the sort of beats you'd expect from kind of any kind of coming of age movie or story.
Yeah.
But I think what elevates it is not just how I mean, this is like sort of next level in terms of like the trauma, but also I feel like the I guess on the subject of like her speaking and like the message, yeah, like I appreciate that. I don't know. I feel like it's about um like we're just sort of watching the process of her getting her voice again, you know, and like all the things that comes with that is sort of interesting as opposed to just it just to being about like she found her voice and now everything's better. It's like finding your voice through art, like finding different people you can talk to, like even a period of time where like the way she's sort of communicating and standing up for herself is by not talking. Like all these kind of methods by which she's sort of like regaining control and like retaining some agency. I don't know. It's just is sort of I think interesting and sort of very. It feels very like authentic. Not that I've been in that situation, of course, but just I don't know, like that. We're kind of watching this long process, and it's not just like a straight line, but kind of we're beginning to see all these like different cracks in the character and how she's, um, yeah, just working through this thing, even though she feels like she maybe doesn't have anyone else. You know, kind of her in. We get a sense, I think, of like what she's thinking about. I guess in a way that's pretty well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. I also
Damn.
like. Go ahead. I
Oh no, go
always
ahead.
interrupt. I'm such an
And
interrupter.
that's okay.
No, because
You're the
that was
host. It's
me
all right.
interrupting. You go ahead,
No, no, no.
Chuck.
I'm the interrupter. Don't even. I like the extras in the movie. Everyone felt like actual like I don't know if they actually used kids from school, but like
Mm,
all the
mm.
characters looked like authentic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
agree.
Yeah,
is. It
yeah.
doesn't have that new problem of like when you see like a movie with teenagers, everyone looks like
Oh yeah,
they're in
they're
their 30s.
right. They're all 30-year-old models. Which on that subject, actually, something else I think that is well, like I could see it being somewhat divisive, but I liked. I liked that a lot of the maybe not the extras you're talking about, but kind of these side characters, like the art teacher, even like her shitty history teacher, like her parents, like we have kind of like a strong sense of who they are, but it's not because we're following them very much. Like it does a good job, I think, of like presenting characters through just like a few scenes or even a few lines of dialogue, but you get a really strong sense of like who they are and who they're meant to sort of represent to her, and maybe even represent larger, like within the context of the movie. Um, like the fact that it's only really, I think, at the end of the movie that it's explicitly said that her dad is unemployed, unless I missed it, because he's like, "Oh, I went for a job interview," and he's like sort of been home around home. Um,
Oh, I didn't catch that.
well, yeah. So this is the interesting thing. But what you did, I'm sure you caught even subconsciously is like you're watching and like the dynamic between the father and the mother and his general vibe is like he's clearly, or he's, to me it seemed like it was like he's sort of maybe aimless, or like I don't want to come across too like misogynistic or something like this is a problem, just like thinking of his perspective, where I don't know, like I got this sense that like the mom is very busy and the mom is working, and almost would get this sense of like, I think of like the scene with the turkey where his like approach is like he's going to go out and break up the frozen turkey with an axe, and that's a fucking stupid idea, and of course it's a stupid idea, and he comes back in and the wife slash mother is just like, let's just move on, and he sort of feels like an idiot, like just I don't know, all these moments that on their face, on their own, kind of don't mean that much, but in the context, you sort of get a good sense of like where they are, and I think that, I don't know, it just adds a little more texture to Melinda's life, and like maybe like just, I don't know, she's working through things. You're seeing these other reflections, and maybe getting a sense of like why there aren't people there like ready to help her. Anyway, it's just interesting layers in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see a lot of criticism online where they're like people say that it doesn't make sense that she didn't tell her friends immediately after it happened. But and like you guys probably agree with this too. She was probably just going through a lot of trauma and didn't really know how to process it all in the moment.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
type of criticism, it's like you can't judge someone, like an action of someone, because you don't know that person. So you don't know what they're comfortable with.
Oh yeah, and
Of, like,
also like a
sharing,
young
like,
person too. Like she's
yeah, that's,
like what is she supposed to be, like only 13 or 12?
Oh yeah, I
yeah,
think she's 14 maybe, but yeah, you're right. I mean, it's really horrifying how young she is, but yeah, 13 or 14.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. It's so easy
Um,
for an adult to just like view that and be like, oh yeah, the correct thing to do is to say this right away. But it's like life's not that.
Yeah, and I also liked how she, when she does go home, she like kind of checks her parents' room,
yeah, and
but
they're not
she does.
there.
Yeah, they're not there, and she's like, "Oh shit, well, guess I have no one to talk to."
Yeah, no, I agree with you guys completely. I think it's sort of a silly, and honestly, I don't want to be too harsh on these internet strangers, but like, I don't know, just sort of, I feel like a genuine misunderstanding of not just the movie, but like what the movie represents. Like the movie's called Speak. Like the whole movie is about her like coming to terms with this and finding her voice and figuring out, how she is going to admit it to herself and admit it to people, like talk through these things, like, and just to say, well, why didn't you just say something, is like sort of okay, like, I don't know,
Yeah,
like just not like ignoring the sort of central conflict here. um, so anyway, yeah, I agree, sort of silly.
and even when she does like finally say it, she has to write it. So I think that also shows just how difficult it is for her to actually say it.
Yeah, I mean, I genuinely, I really can't imagine, and not to mention, this is a little bit of a separate conversation, but of course she tells her friend and her friend doesn't believe her.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Like it's not like, oh, we'll just say something and everything's gonna be fine. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
Hmm.
it just clearly that it shouldn't be more complicated, but it is, right? Like, I mean, it wasn't easy for her personally, and it wasn't easy for the people around her really to accept.
Hmm.
Um,
yeah.
That was the worst person she could have told though.
Well,
yeah, right.
because I was gonna say like, she did believe her, and she like got rid of all the, I guess, beef that they had right away. But then when she told her it was her current boyfriend,
Hmm.
that's when she like retaliated. But even after that, like she talked to him right away to find out like, oh, is it true? And then she realized it.
Yeah, she was quick
Right.
to like not take his side. I like that a
Yeah.
lot.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's like
Yeah.
defending
Thank
her a
God.
bit.
Right.
I was worried
Yeah.
that that was gonna be like a thread in the movie where like there would be like multiple moments of like her talking to Andy and trying to like
Mm.
actually figure it out. I'm glad it was like one scene. I feel like I would have lost my mind if it was multiple scenes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel like, to be honest, well, yeah, I do agree with you, because I feel like that if it had been like this like the process of coming to grips with that, of like, I'm dating this person, or I know this person, or I'm in love with this person, or whatever, that like also is like a fucking monster, like sort of could be a story all on its own, to be honest.
Mhm.
So like probably better just, yeah, let's just like move past it. Like we can't, that's almost not what the movie's not about Rachel or Rochelle or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
and it's not really about Andy. It's about Melinda.
Hmm.
So just bring the focus back to her.
I love the scene where she shows her art teacher like all the pictures of and
Mm,
paintings of the
yeah.
trees. It was just like that was pretty emotional.
Yeah, I almost I got pretty choked up. I was watching with my wife and she was crying, and I'm like, oh, I can't look at her.
And honestly,
Yeah.
that painting of like the Picasso-esque painting she had of the tree, I thought that was
Mm-mm.
so cool. I was like,
Mhm.
wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. That's obviously that was a tearjerker and kind of a nice cap to that kind of little bit of like a B story, but obviously it's really intertwined. I also want to note something though. So things took a little bit of a turn, or let me tell you what I thought. At the beginning of the movie, you don't totally know why she's like ostracized by everyone. Like they're calling her a squealer eventually, like you hear, but like you don't really know what that means. You don't know why
Mhm.
everyone's looking at her. And I thought it was going to be that people knew that they thought that she'd slept with this guy Andy, and they were basically slut shaming her, and really she had been assaulted, which would have been even more horrible. But that wasn't the case. And so the scene, this maybe is going to make me sound crazy, but just I want to see if you guys got this at all. In the scene where she first goes to art class, and the teacher has her stand up and go draw a tree. I thought the scene was going to go to she draws a tree and people start laughing because it kind of looks like a dick that she drew.
Oh, okay.
And I don't bring that up just to be like tee hee, like pointing and laughing, but I feel like there were some things out throughout this movie that like are signaling. I don't know if it's meant to signal like sort of the fact that all this horrible shit is on her mind, or like it's sort of the signal to the audience, like it's sort of pervasive, like that scene. And then also, again, I sound like a weirdo, but I don't think it's an accident that it's done this way. The history teacher, Mr. Neck, who's just like the biggest asshole, one of several assholes, is going to make her recite her essay in front of the class. And when she refuses to do it, he says, "When I say oral, I mean oral."
Oh
And like,
yeah, that's
Oh,
pretty good.
yeah.
yeah,
I like that one more than the tree thing.
okay, good. And
You lost
again,
me at the tree thing, but
okay,
yeah, that I'm like, okay, I can see where you're going.
yeah, because again, it's like I don't think we're meant to think, oh, this teacher's secretly like a pedophile or something. But I feel like it's just these images and signals throughout the movie of like these reflections of like maybe I don't know other ways in which she's being silenced, she's being oppressed. Like you've got this teacher that just like is super what even word would you use? Just oppressive and yeah, authoritarian, yeah, brutish, whatever. Anyway, so I don't know if you guys had gotten any of that. I guess not. maybe I'm reading too much into it.
I like that scene with the teacher getting like upset. And one of the first scenes we see where he's talking about like immigrants. I'm like, wow, people were like this 20 years ago.
Yeah, people are
Yeah,
still like that.
I was gonna say
Yeah,
I got bad
yeah.
news for you, man.
Yeah, I'm like,
Um,
whoa, nothing's changed.
yeah, yeah, I know a little bit like on the nose, right? But I think
I agree. I actually,
yeah,
yeah, it is a little on the nose.
that's the thing. I guess I talked about this a little earlier, but there's a lot of things that I feel like are a little bit on the nose, for the lack of a better phrase. But I feel like ultimately they do serve the larger narrative. Like again, like it's a little bit sort of silly and like I don't know how realistic it is that like on day one in sentence one, like the first thing the teacher says is, "Hey, don't you hate affirmative action?" You know what I mean? Like it's like a bit, like not super nuanced. But I feel like they make that sacrifice of like, okay, we're going to really quickly establish this teacher's that way, this teacher's this way, this character's this character's that. We're establishing kind of who they are. You get a strong sense, and then we can kind of use those characters in different ways to represent different things. I feel like is maybe the trade off there. So I give it a little bit of a pass, but it is sometimes it's a bit clunky.
I feel that.
Yeah, I
Something
think.
my Okay,
Oh,
no.
go ahead, Chuck.
No. You spoke.
Nope, nope, nope.
No. You spoke first this time.
I was gonna say just like another random emotional scene I thought was like the very end when she talks to her mom. I think her mom's like facial expressions, like just ready to cry and just like listening to her daughter. I thought that was pretty powerful, also.
Yeah, the very last scene, I think.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah,
yeah.
I think it is the last scene. I like
You
that a
know,
lot too.
yeah, that's great. You know, I think my favorite moment, we were talking about Stewart's performance. I think my favorite moment of hers, and maybe one of the movie in the whole movie, is at Christmas when her parents give her the chalk and the sketch pad,
Oh yeah,
because that's like there's a lot of really transitional moments that she goes through. Like we talked about it, it's like it's not just like the flip of a switch and everything changes. Like there's all these beats in which she sort of is grappling with what she wants to do and how she wants to approach things. But what I like about that moment is like she's given these art supplies, and her parents don't really know even what it means to her because they're completely in the dark. And honestly, they're kind of like obviously they come around and they're there for at the end, but like for much of the movie, they're really completely sort of so callous towards her, to be honest. But they give her these art supplies, and like you can see, I feel like her initial reaction is like she's very thankful. Like it's like one of the few times we see her smile is like in that moment, like this half smile she gives, and then it sort of very quickly, not quickly, like the camera's just on her, and I feel like she goes through all these different emotions that I can't even totally place because there's no dialogue. But it's like the initial thankfulness, and then like either or all of these things where I feel like then this, I don't know, like this maybe this feeling that she now that her sort of parents are involved in this, now there's some expectation, like this art just isn't for her anymore. Like now that she's kind of, I don't know, there's going to be people watching and waiting for her to produce something, which is not the point, or I don't know, her beginning to recognize the fact that like maybe I have not an obligation, but this is kind of my way to communicate. And like maybe like, you know, I don't know, just I don't even totally know where to place it. I feel like I saw a lot in that moment.
yeah,
And in her performance, and I just find that really interesting. Like I like that. You know, I like when I can't, like I get a strong sense of something, but I can't quite place it. It just feels very real. You know, and so I like that scene a lot.
yeah. And she was like 13, I think,
Mm.
like when she did the movie.
Yeah, this is her first lead role.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I mean, she was really good.
Yeah. I was gonna say something that my wife brought up while we were watching. This is her idea, and I'm not taking any credit for it. So what she brought up was the teacher, her perspective of the English teacher changes throughout the movie.
Mhm.
In the beginning, she sees the teacher as kind of like a crazy lady with like big hair, and as like she gains more confidence, she sees the teacher has more confidence, and like she actually sees her as like a strong woman as well. Like you can kind of see like the English teacher like bubbling up during Valentine's Day. She's like, "Oh yeah, I'm just late because of a car accident or whatever." And then at the end of the movie, like, she had the English teacher kind of like brings I don't what's the word I'm looking for? The teacher kind of like just looks more and more normal to her,
Yeah.
Yeah,
more
like her
confident.
hair's up, her hair's not all on her face. Like she's,
Yeah,
yeah, right.
yeah, and I thought that was pretty. I definitely think that was intentional.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
an interesting read. Because I noticed that as well, but I guess I took a more literal stance where I sort of assumed again, kind of we're seeing these flashes of these characters. To me, it seemed like basically the English teacher had like met someone or something over winter break, because I think she comes back from winter break and it's sort of like suddenly to me it felt sudden. She's, yeah, less sort of frazzled, more just kind of seems generally happier. She comes in and she says like, "Sorry, I'm late. There was an accident." And I'm thinking, was she, I don't know, like with someone this morning? Um, But that's an interesting, yeah, that's definitely, I like that interpretation. You know, that because she does literally, Melinda literally at the beginning of the movie says, I'm becoming, oh no, I'm becoming whatever she calls her, big hair lady or something.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, that is a cool, like,
I was gonna say I also something funny, not funny. I'm gonna get like some of the things I don't like about the movie.
Mhm.
I thought the parents were kind of dumb.
Oh yeah, it's really
Yeah,
frustrating.
yeah. Like when I'm laughing, but this is horrible.
Yeah.
When she wakes up and she's like shaking, and then mom's like, "What?
Mm,
What's the matter with you?"
yeah.
Obviously,
Bug-
like she's going through something.
right.
Like,
She's
yeah,
just like,
like
Boogeyman's gone. It's all right. I'm right here. Let me continue holding you down. It's okay.
yeah, exactly. Like,
Yeah.
dude,
yeah,
Very weird.
that was so bizarre. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I feel
Yeah.
like I would like notice. I'm like, okay, there's something wrong with you. Like, we probably need to see someone. Like,
Can I tell you to that end, like, I thought, like, what the worst, in my opinion, of that, and it's so ridiculous, and I feel like, again, pretty on the nose, but still very frustrating, is the very first scene, like, literally with the opening credits, is Melinda sitting in her room, sitting in front of the mirror, drawing, like, what looked like she was stitching her mouth closed with makeup. And
Yeah.
her mom walks in and says, "Oh my God, I don't have time for this. I'm going to therapy." Where it's like, everyone should go to therapy. I'm not shitting on therapy, but it was just, I feel like this immediate, like, okay, wait. Do you recognize, like, she's not in a family that, like, denies the existence of, like, mental health,
mhm.
you know, as a concept. Like, and the fact that you're looking at your daughter who's, like, having these horrific nightmares, is all doesn't have any, you know, all her friends, she's not seeing any of her friends, you don't know why, you know, is just has stopped talking practically, and you're like, this isn't raising any flags for you, you know, as like you go off yourself to therapy, you don't see anything, didn't jot any thoughts like, oh wait a minute, like maybe, you know, it's just like, I don't know, just yeah, so both of the parents, so frustrating that they're seemingly very tied up in their own lives and just aren't really giving a lot of thought to their daughter.
Mhm.
yeah. I completely agree with you guys, but it's also like, unfortunately, that's like the reality for a lot of kids, where their parents are just completely oblivious to any of their problems.
Yeah,
And
that is true too.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I don't. I think it's in the function that this movie serves. I think it's probably important that that's the way it is. You know, because if I don't know, yeah, it needs to just sort of demonstrate someone who is looking like there wouldn't be the exact same struggle if she was able to come home that night and go to her parents, right? Like it would just be a different movie. It would
yeah,
just be a different story. You know, it'd still be
Mhm.
trauma. She would have still been assaulted, but like it wouldn't have been we wouldn't have seen the same process. So I get it in that sense. And by the way, I guess just to be fair, like because I don't want to be just talked to with sort of authoritatively on any element of this. I can't imagine. I mean, their daughter's like 14 fucking years old.
Mhm.
As a parent, I mean, I guess I shouldn't really blame anyone for like it not entering your mind
Yeah,
that
crossing
your
your mind at all.
child. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like really, I can't fathom. Be, like just yeah, to like the fact. I mean, yeah. Anyway, I mean, you get it. She's a child. It's like I guess I can't really blame them for not assuming or thinking it even crossing their mind that she would have been assaulted. I mean, it's absurd. Um, but yeah, still very very. The whole thing is just it's can be pretty it can be pretty hard to watch at times. This movie
Yeah.
really for that reason.
hmm
The other thing I didn't like was I wish they like used her other friends a little more.
Mm.
Because like we know that she has is it 3 or 4 friends that she
I
used to be friends with.
I think it's three.
3,
Yeah,
yeah,
3. It's the Euro chick, the art class chick,
and like
and
and
the
the
jock.
field hockey.
and
Yeah, right.
yeah, and we see the field hockey girl at the very end.
Well,
Like,
we
Yeah.
do we even know her name? Like, do we even like
oh no,
they
yeah,
have
she
Then
was briefly. She was mentioned. Like, you also see her in the hall, and she like looked at Melinda and was kind of like, oh, like she kind of felt bad, because also in the flashback you see that she was the one in the car who was like, hey, we're like, where's Melinda? We should wait for her. and then her other friends were like, "No, we
Yeah.
need to leave." So we do
Yeah,
see her.
we do see her, but like not enough as the other two. I feel like the other two we actually get like fleshed out conversations with both of them.
Yeah, I kind of agree with
Yeah.
Chuck. Like Brendan, like you're right, where it's like, yeah, we see she may be the first friend we see actually, because it's like immediately in the hall on the first day we see her, and we do see her like she plays tennis with her. It's like she comes up, but the other two do serve more of a function because like Rachel is like the asshole. Like Rachel's the one who's really like ostracizing her and spreading the rumors,
Mhm.
and the other one whose name I don't remember in art class is
Yeah.
sort of like clearly the one who feels maybe the most guilty or is kind of in some small way maybe trying to be friendly but clearly isn't, you know, really going the extra mile or actually, you know, reaching out to her. So the other two kind of serve more of a function throughout the movie, and the other friend who the name Nicole is popping into my head, maybe her name was Nicole, but the jock is kind of just there in the background, and then at the end for whatever reason is the one who kind of like saves her physically.
Mm-hmm.
I do like that image though, which like that's just I guess they have to have kind of a satisfying moment when I mean horrifying that Andy is literally I don't know what he's gonna do to her. He's gonna attack her, he's gonna kill her, he's gonna assault her again in the like janitor's closet.
That was
And
terrifying.
I know,
Yeah.
I know. Honestly, even the scene where she's in the art room, if you remember, and he comes up behind her, he's in the doorway, is like pretty terrifying.
Mhm.
As you know, as intended. But the like whole field hockey team is the one that saves her, and it is, I feel like, just kind of a strong image that it's like uh, Melinda surrounded by these friends. I mean, they're hockey sticks, but like literally clubs. Like finally, Andy is now the one who's like up with his back against the wall. You know, he's not in a position of power,
Mhm.
and finally, someone is protecting Melinda. I don't know. It's sort of just I don't know if that image at all was meant to be intentional, or it's just that they're a team, so of course they're together. I don't know, but yeah.
They look tough, dude. I was scared of them too.
Oh fuck,
Yeah.
dude, are you kidding me? Like, yeah,
Yeah.
a field hockey team running at me.
Those
Yeah, I
sticks
would.
hurt, man.
Yeah,
And
you
Melinda was
speaking from
pretty.
experience.
Melinda was
She was.
fucking him up too.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
Yeah.
like she was badass in that. She had like the thing up to his throat, and like she threw that thing to his eyes. And she was
Yeah,
about to
yeah.
kill him.
I was scared though. I have to say, other than the obvious way, I was scared where they opened the door and yeah, Melinda's got him. She's got like the broken mirror, and I was like, "Fuck! Don't tell me that everyone's about to think she was attacking him. Thinks that this 90-pound 14-year-old girl was beating up Andy. You know what I'm saying? Because they opened the door and she's
Mhm.
like got him. But
That,
thankfully, it didn't take that turn.
that's some Lars Van Trier shit. Like,
Yeah,
the
honestly, yeah.
yeah, like the
God.
worst possible fucking thing happening
Mhm.
for no reason.
Yeah, like Melinda, what are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing? And then she goes to
Yeah.
jail, and then they kill her for no reason.
And they kill her for the right, exactly.
Yeah. I was gonna say the last thing I really wanted to bring up was it's kind of cool that this movie was a Sundance and it only had $1 million budget.
Cool.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's cool.
it used its money wisely.
Yeah.
I mean, like obviously, like there wasn't any like crazy special effects. Like, I like even the actors. I don't think they all the actors became bigger, but no one probably cost that much.
Yeah, I feel like the most high profile was the art teacher.
Yeah,
I recognized. Steve Zahn or something is his name.
yeah, he has a very familiar face. I was like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, like I've never, I don't, no disrespect to him, but like I don't know if I've ever seen him as the lead in something, but I've seen him as like a secondary character like 1,000 times.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I think he's like in the first season of like The White Lotus.
I haven't seen it, so
Mm,
sure, yeah, that sounds right.
yeah.
And the guy, her like her guy friend
Oh,
slash lab
yeah,
partner. He's
Will
like from Sky
Stronghold,
High.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's where he was.
yeah,
That's so funny.
that's true. I noticed it. Yeah, I immediately recognized it. Her mother also was like a face I recognized. I'm not sure that actress's name, but yeah, there were some, there were some recognizable actors, but yeah, it wasn't like I don't know who it would be. someone uber famous as like her English teacher or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would even say like her English teacher wasn't. Oh no, I'm sorry. I thought you meant like the art teacher was super famous. I'm like, I don't think
No,
he's.
I meant there wasn't
Yeah.
anyone. It's not like one of the teachers was just inexplicably Brad Pitt or something.
That'd be fucking cool. But no, it would have been like
Yeah.
a huge. It would have been like the biggest distraction ever.
Well, exactly. Honestly, yeah. For one thing, yeah, the budget would have been. I don't know what Brad Pitt charges these days, but I have a feeling the budget would be multiplied, however many times.
Mhm.
And also, yeah, I feel like sometimes when you have even good actors who are too recognizable in certain roles, it is like, yeah, I don't know, it takes you out of it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, do you guys have anything else you want to wrap up the discussion with?
For me, no.
Yeah, I think I covered everything.
Yeah, I hope we didn't offend anyone.
Yeah, I hope. I
Yeah.
think we tried to be. If we did, we all apologize. We tried to be as respectful as we can.
Oh, are you apologizing? I'm
Yeah.
kidding.
I mean, yeah, I'm gonna apologize for you.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm just kidding. But yeah, hopefully everyone knows we come from a place of compassion.
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say, do you want to just kind of go into ratings? I'm gonna give it like a good 8, strong 8.
8, yeah, very strong.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
strong.
What are you gonna give it, Brendan?
I'm also in the 8.5 for me.
Ooh.
Yeah, strong. We've talked about it, where my scoring metric's a little bit different from you guys. I'm gonna go with a 6.
Okay.
Respect.
Which is a good score for me. It's like that's a respectable score.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
positive.
Yes.
You passed.
Right. Good job, everyone. We did it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Dan, do you want to talk about things we watched first, or do you want to talk about the movie you're gonna recommend first?
Let's talk about things we watched first because it's related to what I'm gonna recommend we watch.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right, Brandon, do you want to go or you want me to go? Or
You can go,
Dan,
Chet.
do you want to go?
You
Okay,
you guys
cool.
go first and I'll go third.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Yeah, me and Brendan, and I was gonna say, Dan, the minute you move to Philadelphia, we can watch movies all the time together because Brendan dragged
Yes.
me to watch the newest Alien movie, Alien Romulus.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Not bad. Not bad. Some things were dumb, but overall it was a pretty good movie. It was kind of
Yeah.
like a repeat of the original Alien in some ways, but yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna, of all the Alien movies, if you're gonna be kind of derivative of one of them, probably best to be derivative of the first one, right? I mean,
Yeah, I definitely felt that. And I was gonna say the other thing I really enjoyed, and I'm looking up his name too, and very funny, not funny, I guess. The guy's name was Andy in the movie in Alien Romulus.
Okay.
I'm not gonna spoil too much, but he was great.
Oh
Like
yeah.
David Johnson.
David Johnson.
Yeah,
I
it's
agree.
like
He was really good.
yeah, he was
That's the
fantastic. That's
that's
the
the
actor's
actor's
name.
name. Okay.
Yes, he was
David
great.
Johnson.
He really like not to say he carried the movie, but his performance was very strong.
Yeah, definitely the best one.
Yeah,
he kind
definitely
of-
the best.
He's a little bit like. Had you seen him in anything before?
No, this was the first thing I've ever seen him in, and he was a standout.
Yeah, good
He
for
like
him.
yeah, like he like almost like commanded the stage in a way. Like he was so good.
Yeah, you like to see that. It's always exciting to see kind of
Yeah.
up and coming people.
Yeah, I really enjoyed. Yeah, overall the movie was fun. I thought it was a good time. I would. It's definitely not as good as the first one, but yeah, it's a good movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not even really an insult though to say that it's not as good as the original, right? I mean,
Oh, the original is so good.
yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing I was going to talk about was just One Piece. I've been watching One Piece, and I don't know if I've ever talked about this before, but if you watch One Piece, there's a version called One Pace, which is like improves the pacing of the show. So like, let's say you're watching like a season that was originally like 13 or 14 episodes. The way One Piece works is like they cut out a lot of filler and
Okay.
they shrink it down to make it more manageable. Like that 14 episodes could actually just be only 12 or 11.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And so you recommend that?
Oh yeah, I think that's the best way to watch it right now. Because
What
go ahead.
No, go ahead. You finish your thought.
Oh no, yeah, it's like the best way to watch it. Like I I don't know the metrics or like the statistics or anything, but I feel like I've saved like 20 episodes.
Out
Oh,
of
nice.
how many? Out of how many? How many do
1,000.
you watch?
No, I'm kidding.
Oh,
I don't know. I don't know how many episodes I'm in. Like, I only know depending on the arc, so it's kind of confusing. But I think I maybe watched 30 episodes, and I feel like I've saved 5. Or like,
okay,
it,
yeah,
it feels like a lot.
That's cool.
Mhm.
yeah. That's good. Interesting to know because I've never watched One Piece or read One Piece, but I've thought about it watching it, and I have never jumped in. Kind of because not just because it's long. Like that's one thing. Like it's fine if it's long, but I've heard it's long and it can be very very slow, especially like arc to
Yep.
arc. Like some are just crazy. So, but
Mhm.
I googled One Piece. And is it like a website? Is it?
Yep.
There's a
It's a
Discord.
website.
Oh, it's a
Oh
website.
yeah, I think they took it down.
Oh, really? So it doesn't
So I
exist
might be
anymore.
even recommending something that is illegal.
Oh, well,
Um,
are we gonna
Well,
do a
on the
show?
Dan,
Discord, if you look hard enough, you can download it. But I'm not gonna give
Okay.
legal advice.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, Dan,
That's
if
fine.
you want, because what I'm doing is I'm waiting for the remake by a famous studio called Wit Studio.
Hmm.
Oh, there's a remake going on.
Yep, they're gonna remake One
Wow.
Piece and make it faster, and add
Yeah.
more grit.
And they're known for like
Wow. Oh, more
nice ass
grit.
animation quality. So I feel like this will be like
Hmm.
the best way to watch it, to be honest.
You
Yeah.
said Wit, WIT, or
Yep.
Wiz with a
Yeah.
Z? Oh,
Yeah.
Wit.
WIT.
Hmm. They're the
They
same
made the
studio that
yeah.
did Attack on Titan. Sorry. You could have had that thunder.
That's all right. We had the same
Were they
thought.
the studio that did the earlier seasons or the later seasons?
The
Yeah.
earlier seasons. He
Earlier
said,
seasons.
"Yeah."
Yeah.
The earlier.
Cool. Yeah, maybe I don't know. Yeah, maybe I'll wait for that. I'm not necessarily dying to watch One Piece. I just like I don't know. Every so often I run into either a person in reality or a person on the internet that sort of sells me on it. Just in the sense that like I don't know, like things don't exist for that long if they're not pretty fucking good. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
there's got to
that's
be
a good way to
something
put
to
it.
it. So yeah.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the two things I was gonna say. One Piece is great. Definitely fun. Definitely the old anime style and anime feel. So I don't know how it's gonna look like when when I catch up, if I ever catch up.
If
Yeah.
do you think will you be watching the remake like in
Uh,
tandem, or what do you think?
Depends how far along I go. If I'm at a point where the remake catches up to where I am, I'm just gonna watch the remake.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah. Go ahead, Briz.
For me, other than Alien Romulus, I saw 2 movies. Uh and both were awesome. One was Paprika, the anime film.
Oh,
Oh yeah, I
Satoshi
want to see that.
Kon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. Like I could definitely see how Inception was inspired by it. It was just so
Mm.
cool, and the soundtrack was just so cool. Also, and then the other movie I watched was SLC Punk, which I fucking loved.
Oh wow. You,
Yeah,
I've seen that like maybe a year or two ago, and that kind of tracks.
yeah, it's so good. But like, it's not even like I'm not even. I don't. It's not. Oh, I love it because of the whole like anarchy thing. I love it because it's like it's basically like a guy's whole identity like crumbling and like him coming to terms with that. And I'm just
Yeah,
like, damn,
that's a good way to
relatable.
put it. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, and he's so awesome in that. Matthew, he honestly like every movie I see him, and he's a standout. To be honest, Scream, Scooby
Scooby
Scooby-Doo.
Doo,
Doo. Yep.
yeah, Hackers, and
Others.
this movie.
Okay.
Wow, and I was gonna say, how did you find it? It's like a hard movie to find, right?
Oh, because yeah, I searched up like films with like a specific type of theme or message, and then this popped up.
Oh, but I meant like finding the movie and like watching it.
Oh, to
It's on.
watch it.
It's like $3.50 on a bunch of different like Amazon and YouTube and stuff. Like
Oh,
you
okay.
can rent it.
Okay, you can
Yeah,
rent it.
I
Okay.
rented it.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, for
Yeah.
$3. That's what I did. I'm just saying, if all else fails, for anyone listening who isn't a pirate, you can rent it.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, so that's it for me. Just those two, but both were bangers.
Nice.
Yeah, it's your turn now.
So I haven't watched a ton this week. I watched a couple shows. Like I started rewatching Schitt's Creek, sort of in the background. But really, what I saw that I want to talk about is went and saw something on the stage live, which was a musical called Nine, which I had never heard of. Yeah, very good. Where I saw it, it's already gone. It was only on stage for like 2 weeks. But if you ever have the chance to see Nine, I highly recommend it. It's awesome. And I'm not like a big musical buff. I appreciate them. I don't hate them or anything, but like I don't, I'm not an authority. But super cool. Super like all these sort of meta elements. Like briefly, it's about a guy, a filmmaker who's like, I think he's 40, and he's a little bit over the hill. It takes place in the 60s. His last couple movies have kind of been flops, and he's sort of looking for a bit of a comeback. He's got already signed a producer for his next movie, but hasn't even written a script. So it's about him trying to come up with an idea for a movie, but also it's really about him like in an almost literal way, kind of grappling with like his inner child and like trying to figure out why he is basically like a man baby. And like he like is sort of this womanizer and is very not impulsive, but just really has difficulty kind of committing to things. And gets really kind of obsessed with people, and then once he knows them, he moves on. A little bit cliche, but still always interesting. But the thing that's so cool about it being on stage is, for one thing, as he's like, I talk about like he has all these memories of himself as a child. As he's on stage and like the reality's happening, also on stage, or like his memories being acted out. So it's like the grown guy and then like the child version of him are like interacting and stuff, even though obviously it's not literal, which I'm sure has been done elsewhere. But as someone who doesn't know a lot about stage, like it's pretty cool. Like it was sort of unlike anything I've seen before. Yeah. And also there's like almost like references to the fact that it's a play where the orchestra is up on the stage with the actors, and occasionally like there's always someone conducting. So there is a conductor, but every so often the dedicated conductor will like leave the stage, and like extras in the background will take over and just start conducting and stuff, which is all pretty cool and very stylish. So yeah, really cool, called Nine. But how this relates to what I'd like us to watch is Nine is based on the Federico Fellini movie 8.5.
Oh, that's on my watch list.
Yeah. I've never seen 8.5. Now I'd like to. And I don't think either of you guys have seen it.
No.
So
it's on HBO Max.
Yes, I know. And so I think, yeah, I'd like.
That's a great and legal way to watch the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pat in the backs all around.
Exactly.
But yeah, so anyway, really long-winded way for me to say what I want my movie to be. But yeah, 8.5, I think it'll be good. I'm excited for it. Hopefully we all like it.
Dang. Sweet. Yeah, it's an Italian movie. I wonder if there's going to be spaghetti.
Yeah.
Oh boy, yeah. You should make sure at the beginning, you have to edit at the beginning a trigger warning for racism too.
Yeah, for the Italian.
Yeah.
For the Italian jokes.
It's okay. Italians don't use their ears.
Wow, I don't even know what you're referencing, but it sounds problematic.
It's okay.
Yeah, we kid.
Forget about it.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, the entire podcast is just me speaking in a bad Italian accent. That'd be good.
Yeah, if it's bad enough, it's not even an Italian accent anymore.
Gabagool. You've gabbled your last ghoul.
Yeah, it's pretty good, man.
At least I got Brendan to laugh. That's all that matters.
Does that really count, though?
Not really, but it counts for me.
Okay, good.
Okay,
Brendan, stop laughing. I hear you chuckling.
But yeah, so we're gonna watch 8.5 by Federico Pellicini.
Pellicini. Yep.
Pellicini. Fettuccine Alfredo sauce.
Yeah, sauce. Yeah, the Italian.
It's gonna be a great
Sauce.
movie. Don't forget to heat up your pasta before you watch it.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Right.
Okay. Yeah. Ciao, everyone. This was Chuckles Bubbles. Thank you for listening or watching. And this is me. Thank you for laughing somewhere. This is Chuckles Bubbles. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Don't know how to follow that.
Say
Bye-bye.
your names, guys. Come on.
My name's Daniel.
Bye bye.
My